What's up, everybody? You're very welcome along to tonight's late night agenda, and I do apologise, I am 3 minutes late, but I was having a few mares with the old computer. Stuff happens, but we are here, we're live, we're good to go. I hope you're all well. As always, things are moving a little bit slowly in the LFC transfer world, but I'll try and keep you up to date with what we do know and what has been happening. So firstly, let me just say hello to everybody in the chat, as always. Really appreciate you wonderful people giving up your time, and I'm still trying to talk and delay things here as I get the chat ready and everything good to go. Right, so how are we all, people? How are we all doing? Are you good in yourselves? How are you? This is the things that I like to ask. Right, again, this is me shitting the bed. When Connor's not around, Craig shits the bed. This is what happens, ladies and gentlemen. So bear with me. I'm just trying to get all the information on screen ready for you guys so we can kick off. Right, chatteroo. Right, I think I've got it all finally in a place where I'm actually able to get going. Right, sorry ladies and gentlemen, my apologies. Where do we want to start off with tonight? So I've got some stuff to talk about on MALEN. We'll talk about TIELEMANS. We can talk about Ronaldo Sanchez, Mohamed Salah and his contract, the lads training, Saul, loads of bits and pieces. Again, on Saul, I'll have much more stuff probably over the next 24 hours or so. I have reached out and I should have some further information in the next 24 hours or so. I don't want to give you anything that I can't stand over, so I'm waiting for, you know, the one person I do trust with regards to all things Spanish football to have a little look around and get back to me on it. Training, right. Well, let's start off with training then, and let's start off with these two gentlemen here. Look at them. Don't they look magnificent? Joe Gomez and Virgil van Dijk back training, and Joe Gomez has been talking about how great it's been to have Van Dijk with him as they both went through the recovery together. As you can see on screen, it said it's someone to relate to, someone to vent to at times when you're frustrated, so it was massive. I think both helpful to have had each other. It was cruel circumstances, but it ultimately made things easier. Joe Gomez there talking about working through his injuries with Virgil van Dijk, and look, it's great that they are both in Austria with the rest of the Reds training camp, and yeah, it's great to see them out on the pitch doing some work, because look, Ibrahim Kanade, fantastic signing, great piece of business, but we need as many fit and available centre backs as we can get. So the fact that these two gentlemen are up and they're in rehab now and they're there with the team taking part in training, it's magnificent. It makes us all smile. It's a thing of beauty. What do you love to see? That, very much so, ladies and gentlemen. So a little bit of good news there to start off with tonight. I mean, look at them, just look at them together. Aren't they just both magnificent? I mean, if there was a machismo measurement, be off the Richter scale, or off the scale. Wouldn't be a Richter scale, Craig, because it's not an earthquake, but it would be off the scale nonetheless. Look at them. Aren't they just magnificent? I mean, let's all just take a second to appreciate the absolute godliness of Virgil van Dijk and Joe Gomez, and we'll bring Ibrahim Kanade into that conversation in a little bit as well, because you know there's an awful bang of godliness off him as well, if we're being honest. So yeah, great news from Joe Gomez there. Great to see them both stepping up their rehab, and a positive way to kick off tonight's stream, ladies and gentlemen. Have you seen the pre-season dates? Yes, I spoke about them last night, mate. A couple of 30-minute friendlies on the same day. Look, I have the fixture list, the friendlies on my phone for those that aren't aware of them. I'll get it up here 1 second. That's what you said! Yes, I'm a 5-year-old. Get over it. None of us men ever grow up. I keep saying that to my wife. She lives in this faint hope that perhaps someday I'll grow up to be a big person. It's never going to happen, love. It's never going to happen. Right, here are the Liverpool pre-season dates. So on Tuesday, July the 20th, the Reds are playing 2 30-minute mini-games, as they're calling it, against Wacker Innsbruck at 5 p.m. and Stuttgart at 5:45 p.m. Both those games are going to be taking place behind closed doors. Friday, July 23rd, the Reds are going to be playing Mainz at the Greisberger's Bettina Arena in Grodig, 3,500 capacity. And then Thursday, July 29th, Hertha Berlin, and there's going to be 15,000 capacity at the Tivoli Stadium in Innsbruck. So that's the pre-season. There we go. Craig, that picture's gotten me a little too excited as well, said Jack. Look, yeah, it's great, isn't it? It's great to see them all back. Craig, are we a contender for the title this season? Of course we are. Even if we weren't to make another signing between now and the window closing, and we got our boys back and got them fit, absolutely we're in contention for the title this season. I mean, look, we're all losing our minds, and rightly so. And I'm going to move on to something in a second. So if you wanted Angry Craig, you're going to be happy, because you're going to get Angry Craig in a second. But I do want to just say, like, we're all getting worked up over transfers, and I get it. I'm part of this. I'm part of the whole ecosystem that gets frustrated. But what I will say is, not many other clubs have really done any business yet either. So it's not like we're sitting here seeing City haven't made 4 signings and Chelsea haven't made 3 signings, although they did have a very good previous transfer window, or previous transfer summer, I should say. Or, you know, we seen United sign Sancho, fair enough, but that was something that was on the cards probably for over a year and a half. So for us now, we've got Ibrahim Konate in, and we do want to push on. But I just want to start off with something that somebody sent me in our Discord group before we got going today. Again, as you know, Fabrizio Romano is appearing here, there and everywhere at the minute. Very popular man during transfer times. And the word seems to be, at least from what I've been told, that whenever he's speaking about Liverpool, the impact of COVID and the finances keeps coming up. Now, what I'll say to you is this. I've never met and I do not know Fabrizio Romano. But it wouldn't surprise me in the least if these are the things that the club want to be put out there. Because they want us, you know, they want us to feel like, oh, well, this is understandable. I can't for the life of me, and I'm sure somebody can explain it to me, understand how we could be any more or perhaps even any less impacted by COVID than any other football club. Do we rely on more gate receipts than other football clubs? Genuine question. I don't know the answer to it. But to hear it being trotted out as an excuse, I'm sorry, John, it just doesn't wash, mate. Why doesn't it wash? Because you've already told us that when you sold off 10% of FSG for 550 something million pound or whatever it was, that some of that money was being used to cover the losses of the impact from COVID. So sorry, John, that just ain't gonna wash, fella. We've heard it before, we've seen your excuses. Where's the money, John? Where's the money? So for me, look, we are going to get some transfers done. There's more stuff coming out that there's going to be, it's a sell to buy summer. Again, that's what the club will want put out there. Not because they won't do business, but because they're hardly going to go, we've loads of money. Let's brief all the journalists that we're going out this summer and we're going to spend a shit ton of money. Of course they're not going to do that. Now, when people say it's going to be a sell to buy summer, what I read from that isn't so much as we won't do any business unless we sell these players. What my reading of that situation is there are players that the club would like to move on. Origi, Shaqiri, Grujic, Wilson, and numerous others as well. And if we move them on, and if the squad places are free, and if the wages are off the books, and if we bring in a transfer fee, then we can maybe look at a different calibre of signing to the one that we could potentially afford now. That's at least my reading of this situation. So don't get too downhearted when you hear things like it's a sell to buy summer, or, you know, Liverpool have to move players on and stuff like that. There are actually valid reasons, and this isn't me defending the club. This, I think, is the right thing to do. Now, if at the end of this transfer window, we're still sitting here talking about having done very little business, and we've moved Grujic on, we've moved Origi on, we've moved Wilson on, we've moved Shaqiri on, and we've moved a couple, maybe Karius on. We've already seen Liam Miller and Camille Grabara go. That's brought in about £4.5 million. Then we'll have reason to be worried. If we see Nat Phillips go, Nico Williams go, and we're still sitting here scratching our head wondering about a winger and a midfielder. So for me, I think it would actually be rather astute if the club were to move on these players that are not going to factor majorly in Jurgen Klopp's plans for the new season, and then we went and got players in. That's sensible as far as I'm concerned, and the club know what they're working with. So what I'm saying is, don't go over the top. But also, where's the money, John? Where's the money? Because, you know, you're not going to get away with another summer off a pal. Trust us. As Liverpool fans, you're already standing on your last legs with regards to any ounce of trust that the fans have in FSC at this point. You're clinging on for dear life, John. Because it's Jurgen Klopp that's glossing over a lot of this shit. So, Kloppo is the one that's keeping us all together right now. So, with that in mind, what do I think will happen? Well, it's no secret that Liverpool are most likely going to sign a forward, probably an attacking wide player, at least one. I'm not saying there will be two, but at least one, and a midfielder. The priority seems to be attacking wide player first, midfielder later. So then you go, well, who are these players? Who are these attacking wide players? That's where the conversation gets a little bit skewed. Now let's start off with somebody we've spoken about last night. We'll continue to speak about this gentleman, Daniel Malen. So apparently, again goes the rumours around, his agent, who is of course Mina Raiola, is looking for around 100 grand a week, which would put him on twice as much money as Diogo Jota, as far as I'm aware. Is he twice the player Diogo Jota is? Not yet. Not proven. Would Diogo Jota be happy to see Daniel Malen coming in on double his wages after what he's done in the brief 6 months he's been with us? Probably not. So, to me, this is the reason I keep saying I always get worried when I see us linked with Mino Raiola players. Because, look, he's got some fine players on his books. There's no denying that. He represents some quality footballers, but he likes to keep them moving. He likes to keep the cash flow. He likes to keep the signing on bonuses. He likes to keep his little earner. So for me, I still think he'll end up at Dortmund. Liverpool are interested in him, but that interest doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to turn into an offer. What it means is Michael Edwards will have had a conversation with Mino Raiola. He will have put the feelers out. Of course, we're going to be interested in Daniel Malen. He had a great season with PSV Eindhoven, and he's somebody the club would have been tracking for a while now. Probably right back since his days when he was an underage player at Arsenal. So, it doesn't surprise me we're being linked with him, but if you're asking for my opinion, I don't see Daniel Malen ending up at Liverpool. I see him ending up at Borussia Dortmund and then moving on from there in a couple of years' time, as is the way with Dortmund and a lot of the players that they attract in. So to me, I don't see it happening. And do I think he deserves 100 grand a week? Nope, I don't. And look, we all sit here as mere mortals thinking 250 grand a week, 100 grand a week, 180 grand a week. If Diogo Jota signed on 50 grand a week and was a 50 odd million transfer, well, how can we justify spending, let's say, 35 million on Daniel Malen and paying him 100 grand a week? It just does not add up to me in any way, shape or form, unless you're going to start bringing up Diogo Jota's wages to make sense. So, for me, this one, the more I read about it, each day goes by, the less and less I'm convinced that we're actually going to put forward that interest. And look, we would have an interest, of course. I'm not denying the interest. I just don't think it's one that's going to happen. Someone said Mino Raiola is a cancer to football. I think a lot of agents are... Here's what I don't get about agents, right? So think of any other sport that you want. American football, baseball, basketball, whatever sport it is that you choose to think of right now. Any other sport that I'm aware of, clubs don't pay agents. Players pay agents. Now, of course, in football, players do pay agents. But clubs are also paying a lot of money in these transfers to agents. And Mino Raiola is very much at the head of that queue when it comes to sticking his nose in the trough to get his little share of the food, shall we say. Because it's something that does my head in. Too much money's been taken out of the game by agents. And, they are needed, but not in the way that they're being paid. So we're as guilty as anybody at Liverpool Football Club. We've paid a lot of money to agents and have been at the very higher end of the Premier League list when it comes to money paid out to agents over the last few seasons. So it's not something that, again, I think will happen, but it's something that really pisses me off because it's money that's coming directly out of the clubs and it's money that's coming from your ticket sales or your transfer or your shirt purchases or your club memberships, all that stuff, all the hard stuff that we as fans work for or you as fans work for week in and week out. Spend a few quid that you have, kit your kids out with a kit, buy yourself a shirt or whatever, and then we just have these, in my opinion, greasy bastards coming in and just getting too big of a share of the pie. If the players want to pay their agents, that should be their concern. I don't think football clubs should have anything to do with it, and I think it should be something that FIFA and UEFA look into because it's getting ridiculous. I mean, these guys are now becoming the superstars of the game. These guys are getting so powerful that they're able to forge relationships with clubs. They're able to almost forge relationships with continents to get players across, to put them in specific clubs. And if you're not willing to pay the money to these agents, if you're not willing to play ball, you're going to miss out on a lot of talent. So to me, this roundabout, this circle of selfishness and greed has to stop in football. It's not sustainable, in my opinion. And I would much rather the players get the money. I'd much rather it went to local charitable causes or stayed within the football club, or hell, even went down the football pyramid to clubs lower down in the ecosystem. It's just greed. Of course agents deserve to be paid, but not by football clubs. Not in the amount that we've seen. Not in the tens of millions at times for a transfer. It's just not right as far as I'm concerned. It really isn't. Anyway, let's move on. What have we got? We need at least one more striker, said Vanix. You know my opinion on this, and it won't change. I still think we One, we don't really play with a striker in our system. Part of the floating or false nine system that we play, it's similar to the way you've seen Kane playing with England at times, in that he drops a bit deep. So whether it be Bobby Firmino, whether it be Diogo Jota, whoever it is that plays through the centre, comes deep. And the reason they come deep at times is obviously to do one of two things: find space in between the lines to link up play, or to drag defenders with them, which in turn creates space in behind for the pacey wide players we have, in these instances Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane, and of course then you have the full-back bombing forward as well. That's the system we play. It doesn't really suit to having an out-and-out number 9. So that's why we don't sign strikers. That's why we don't go out there and get real out-and-out 9s. We always go for players who are utility front men who can play across the front 3, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. So it doesn't shock me that I'm seeing us linked again with wide forwards, because that's the way our system is. And I know a lot of people may disagree with me on that, and I fully respect your opinions, of course, but that's just the way it's always been. And, you know, anyone who's lucky enough to have a subscription to The Athletic will probably have read Pep Lijnders' diary throughout the Euros and stuff, and you get a great insight into not just his mind on football, which, by the way, is ridiculous. The man is... He lives, breathes the game. There's nothing Pep Lijnders doesn't know about the sport. He is an absolute genius, and we are privileged as Liverpool fans to have that man working at our football club. So if you get a chance, read up on it, particularly his summarisation of the end of the Euros, because it gives you an insight into systems and the way we implement those systems and what we look for in players and what attracts Liverpool to specific types of footballers. What have we got? Looks like Jota is on 90k a week. Why? Because you googled that and it came up? Do you know what I mean? I can make a list of wages right now, mate, if you want, and tell you how much they're on each week. I don't know, is the honest answer. But if he is on 90k a week, great. He fully deserves 90k a week for that level of transfer as far as I'm concerned. But from what I've been informed, or from what I've been told, he's on less. But again, you go get paid, mate. Do you know what I mean? If Jota gets paid, that great. But that's not what I was told. Craig, do you think Salah's contract is a big issue? Okay, well let's have a little talk about Mohamed Salah's contract actually. So where are we with regards to the contract? Well, according to again Fabrizio Romano, Liverpool have started talking to Mohamed Salah about a new contract, which is what we all want to hear, because first priority for me should be to get this man tied down to a new deal, because he is our talisman, he is the difference maker for us, and he knows how to put the ball in the back of the net better than anybody else currently at the club. So it's good news that the club have started to talk with Mohamed Salah, but they're nowhere near an advanced stage yet apparently. And again, I'm going to just keep going back to the same thing. Whilst he's not being tied down to a new deal, and whilst PSG are hovering around in the background, waiting to see what happens with Kylian Mbappe, I become a very, very worried person. Because this, at 29 years of age, is probably going to be the last big contract Mohamed Salah signs as a footballer. So, of course, we all hope he signs that and commits his future to Liverpool Football Club. But if he doesn't, or he stalls, or the contract talks don't go as well as both parties would like, then we're in a position of, well, what do we do? Do we let him run it down to 18 months, then to a year? Do we look to sell him? If he doesn't want to be sold in that year, we're in a position that Kylian Mbappe has PSG in right now. So this needs to be priority number 1 for me, which leads me back to the start of the video when I said I think the club need to remove players from the club that they want to sell on and get a few little bits and pieces done, and then we'll see the transfers happen. But this has to be priority number 1, because if we lose Mohamed Salah, it's not going to go down well. And look, you can say we get 150 million from, unless he's replaced by a man whose name is Kylian Mbappe, none of us are going to accept it. And even at that, we're still not going to be happy, because we love Mohamed Salah. So the news is that the negotiations have started, but they're not very advanced yet. And yeah, I mean, all we can do is keep an eye on the situation, folks. But, you know, has it got me worried? Yes, I won't lie to you, it has got me worried. I've always been honest about my worry around these things. What do you guys think around the Salah situation? Do you think it'll get resolved? Do you guys think that it's nothing to worry about? Do you think that maybe I'm overthinking the situation? Because we've been told for a very long time that Fabinho, Alisson, Van Dijk, the club are you know, they're priority numero uno for the club to sit down and negotiate new deals with, which is great. They all deserve them. But nobody is more deserving than Mohamed Salah. So, baffled. Absolutely baffled. PC Drat said he wouldn't swap Mohamed Salah for Mbappe. Liverpool need a central midfielder and a striker, and I will repeat for the 500th time now, we don't play with a striker in our system. We won't be signing a striker. You're going to be very disappointed. We're going to sign somebody who can play anywhere across the front three. And them's just facts, kiddo. So, I don't mean to be rude or anything, but there's no point in talking about strikers when we don't play with a striker. It's not the way we set up. Salah's going to Dundalk, nailed on. Definitely going to happen. Imagine Salah arriving. Chris Shields leaves, but Mohamed Salah arrives in then instead. Kyle, how are you, Kyle? Kyle Flano, how are you, mate? One of our good friends here on the channel said, I think we should either sign Doku or TIELEMANS. Both players have a bright future. Look, we'll get on to the stuff around TIELEMANS a little bit later on, but while we are talking about wide forwards, then yeah, I mean, Kyle has raised a very good point. For me there, Jeremy Doku was top of my list of priorities, but I haven't seen anything to suggest that we've made that approach, that we've approached Ron about signing Jeremy Doku. And again, Ron are another one of these clubs that when they do sell players, they usually sell them for top dollar. They usually go for decent money. They're not a club that gets pushed around in the transfer market. Usually they're very clever. They know when they have a talent on their hands. So I'd be very happy. He's right up there on the top of my list. But all we know for certain, the only player that, like Bernardeschi, that's another one that we've spoken about. It's not Bernardeschi, sorry, I keep getting all these Italian names mixed up. Bernardi, is that his name? The 26-year-old guy that plays for Sassuolo. He's another one that's been linked to Liverpool, and again, somebody who's coming right into the peak of his powers. But is it just World Cup or European Cup fever? I don't know. But they're the two, Malen, him and Doku are the names that kind of going around, but Malen is the one that is most out in the media, because obviously it's clear to everybody that Mino Raiola wants him to make a move now. He wants him to leave PSV Eindhoven and go somewhere. So yeah, it's gone quite quiet on the winger front, but to me on this occasion I genuinely think quiet's good, because if that's the first priority, I think the club will be working away in the background on a wide forward, and great, get it done, get it sorted. Nothing would make us happier than if we had a Fabinho or Diogo Jota type deal where we're all sitting here wondering who's going to happen. All of a sudden then, boom, James Pearce, Fabrizio Romano, whoever it might be, makes an announcement to say X or Y is on a plane on the way to Liverpool, medical pending. That would be great. We'd all love that scenario, and hopefully that's what's going to happen. Berardi, yes, that was the one I was trying to think of, mate, sorry. And I got to be honest with you, for me, it doesn't strike me as a Jurgen Klopp type of signing, the few bits I've seen of Berardi. So, yeah, that one to me wouldn't make any sense. Now, Doku, loads of sense. Malen, I can absolutely see why as well. But I would be worried that Malen, we'd have a headache 2 years down the road with, because Mino Raiola would want to move him on again. So, he could get his payday, or we'd be held to ransom over his next wage demands. Right, so loads of people are asking me about Saul from Atleti. The reason that I'm not bringing him up tonight is I reached out to a good friend of mine who's really, really knowledgeable on all things Spanish football, and I'm waiting to hear back, and I should hear back. I'm hoping, I'm going to give him a nudge tomorrow, so hopefully on tomorrow night's stream I may or may not be able to give you guys more information on it. But as things currently stand, I've got nothing to add to the conversation on Saul than we spoke about previously. But what is confusing is, depending on what outlet you're looking at or who you follow on Twitter or Instagram, you're seeing different things. We're seeing that either this guy is really close and that Liverpool are in pole position to sign Ronaldo Sanchez, or that Liverpool are in pole position to sign Saul, or that Liverpool are in pole position to sign Yuri Tielemans. It depends what you believe, or do you believe any of it? Now, let's talk about Ronaldo Sanchez for a second while we have him up on the screen. So, we know he's at Lille. We know 35 million euro seems to be roughly the price for him. I think he's 23 years of age, if my memory's correct, and has had a bit of an up and down career so far. Burst onto the scene with Benfica. Wonderful talent. Everybody thought, well, this kid is a new superstar. He went to Bayern Munich. Didn't quite work out. I don't know why. I don't know Bayern Munich well enough to know why it did or didn't work out. He had a little loan move to Swansea at one point, or was at Swansea. That didn't go too well. He ended up in France with Lille. and has started to blossom there and show again why he was such a highly talked about talent when he burst through. So Ronaldo Sanchez to me is somebody I could see Klopp being interested in, yes. Now, is there risk involved with this signing if we were to make it? Yes. But again, a lot of the stuff that we do involves calculated risk in the transfer market, but no stone will be left unturned if we were to look for a central midfielder. And if he is the choice, if Ronaldo Sanchez is the one that Pep Linders, Jurgen Klopp, Michael Edwards, the rest of the recruitment team put their heads together and go, he's the one, then I genuinely believe we'll get him. I know Barcelona have been linked to, but it's no secret to anybody that Barcelona are up shit creek right now with regards to finances. They can't even register players they've already signed. You know, they're worrying about fighting off interest in the likes of Pedri, the likes of Ansu Fati and other players at the club. There's talk of Antoine Griezmann being out the door. They can't give away Felipe Coutinho. Marseille are the latest club being linked to him. So, Ronaldo Sanchez, I think Liverpool just feel like they're in no rush to sort out the midfield situation, and I would agree. I would agree that the forward has to be the priority, because whatever happens in midfield, even if it's somebody we bring in right at the end of the transfer window, we know that come January the AFCON is happening, and we know that we're going to lose our two talisman in wide areas. Now, it's only for 2 league games, granted, and a couple of domestic cup games, but you know, we still know they're going away. So you can understand why a forward is the priority. Now, there's some good news. We do, of course, have Harvey Elliott, and Harvey Elliott's coming back. He's out there training with the first team. I've got a good feeling this season could be a big one for Harvey. Then we've got Musialowski, who has massively impressed everybody at underage level. What happens next with him? Genuinely, I don't know. But anything you read about Musialowski just gets glowing references. I mean, he models his game on Messi. He loves to dribble with the ball, loves to take on players. So that's another talent that we have coming through. Is he quite ready? I don't know. Maybe not, maybe so. Maybe another season at the underage level, maybe a loan, maybe he'll drop in and out of the first team. I genuinely don't know. So I think midfielder is a position where if we were to go through them, we'd probably be listing off 6 or 7 players that we have in central midfield right now. So I can understand the hesitancy there, because I don't think it's priority number 1. I think the wide forward should be and is priority number 1. So we've spoken about this guy, Ronaldo Sanchez. Let me see what you guys think about him. There's a risk with any transfer, of course there is, Derek, but you try and mitigate that risk as much as possible with research, with, you know, background checks on the player, and, you know, what's his family life like, what's his attitude like, how does he play in this condition, what's he like when his back's up against the wall and things aren't going his way, what has his attitude been like when he's picked up injuries. So many things that you and I would never think of that the club do have to take into account, and that's before you look into his data and all of his fitness analytics and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, long gone are the days where, you know, there's a fella just sitting there with a pencil and a pad watching games of football and going, yeah, this is the lad, I recommend this guy. You watch a video of him and go, yeah, he's the one. Those days are gone, and Liverpool look 2, 3, 4 years in advance now. So Liverpool will have been tracking Ronaldo Sanchez right the way through from when he broke through at Benfica. So, you know, no stone will be left unturned, as I said, with regards to the midfield area. And I will get on to a couple more to talk about before we move on. Your dream signing. Well, there's only one man who's ever gotten a triple chew on this channel, ladies and gentlemen. We all know who that is. My dream signing, in my opinion, could arrive next summer. Choo! 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 Hey, Jude! You know what the story is. That's it. That's for me. That's the one for next summer. I don't think there's any hope of it happening this summer, but yeah, next summer I get a good feeling. Anything on Danny Ings? Nothing new. All I know on Danny Ings is that he's turned down a new 4-year contract at Southampton. There was a little bit of talk, of course, about the possibility of a little swapsy deal there between Danny Ings and Takumi Minamino with some money. Again, I think that was just somebody saying, well, they like Minamino, we had Ings in the past. But what we do know is that Liverpool have a 20% sell-on clause on Danny Ings. So if he does move, either way, we're going to get a payday. Do you think Liverpool have the money to sign Jude Bellingham? Not this summer, no, which is why I keep saying we won't be signing him this summer. But next summer, yes, because we'll have hopefully had a full season with crowds back inside. We'll have hopefully had good success on the pitch again. And I will also say what I've said before. I think next summer we'll see one of the big three leave. And by big three, I mean Salah, Firmino, Mane. I think one of those will leave next summer. And that could pave the way for us to have the cash to go and do that deal. That's why I keep talking about it being on the long finger. Because, yeah, I genuinely do think we'll go for Jude Bellingham next year. Because, well, we should be going for Jude Bellingham next year because he's a baller and he's the closest thing I've seen since Kevin De Bruyne to a potential Steven Gerrard. So, you know, there you go. Triple chew. You don't get many triple chews on this channel, ladies and gentlemen. Someone said you missed the donation. I didn't. I just spoke about it there. Yes, here asked, if Liverpool have the money to sign Jude Bellingham. But good looking out anyway. Right, what else do we want to talk about? Youri Tielemans. Let's get sexy for a minute because it does get a little bit sexy when we're talking about Tielemans because, you know, it makes us all that little bit happier, doesn't it? Come on, let's dance with me, folks. Dance with me. Come on, bounce with me. Come on, bounce with me, folks. You know you want to do it at home. Let's get sexy here. Let's talk about Youri Tielemans for a second. Right. So here's the crack with Youri Tielemans. What do we know about him? We know that he's a damn fine footballer. We know that he's 24 years of age. We know that he's at Leicester City currently, and we know that he had a good Europe. A good Europe? He had a great Europe. All the Europe! He had a great Europe. He had all of it to himself. He had a good Euros, I should say, excuse me. But the price tag is always the worry, isn't it? And has always been my worry around this dude. 65 million is apparently the number, or 64 million is the number that Leicester City would do business at. Now, it seems like anybody who broaches the subject, or, you know, there's been some stuff coming out of his homeland again around a transfer to Liverpool, and it looks like he'd be up for it. And look, why wouldn't he be? It's Liverpool, for Christ's sake. It's Jurgen Klopp, it's Virgil van Dijk, it's Alisson Becker, it's Mohamed Salah, it's me. Do you know what I mean? He wants to come on Anfield agenda. That's the truth. I mean, that's really why Youri Tielemans is pushing for this move. We all know it. I say pushing. He's interested in it. You know, from those that have been close to him, it's been reported that it's something he'd be open to. Now, again, the big question here is, where do we get the money? Where do we get 65 million to pay Leicester? Quite simply, I don't know if we have that money, and I don't know if we'd be able to get access to that kind of money without what I spoke about before. Moving on Marco Grujic, moving on Harry Wilson, moving on Origi, moving on Shaqiri. We've already moved on Grabara, we've already moved on Liam Miller, and there'll probably be a few more if you were to move on Nico Williams. I don't know what the story's going to be with Nat Phillips or Ben Davies, Karius. I mean, you know, there are some players there that when you start to get a 4 million here, an 8 million here, a 12 million there, a 9, it'll all add up. So that's why I'm saying midfield is going to be a game of patience, because I think that's where the club will probably be dropping the most money. So whoever the midfield is going to be, it'll probably be later in the window, and it will probably be after we have a much better understanding of where we are on a financial footing. So yeah, I think Tielemans, you know, I wouldn't rule it out. But there's no doubt about the lad's quality anymore. There's no doubt about him being able to play at the highest level. I know I'm the only one that ever had some of these doubts, by the way. A lot of you guys have been telling me Tielemans was the one for ages, but, you know, as I've always said, Ronaldo Sanchez, Saul, Tielemans, I've no issues with any of those three lads coming through the door. So for me, I'd happily have any of them. We spoke about Adama last night with regards to wingers, because I know a lot of you guys are asking about wingers as well. I don't think I saved the picture, did I? No, I didn't save the picture. And another one that's gone quiet, by the way, is Kingsley Cowman. Because you remember after France got knocked out of the Euros, Kingsley Cowman was mentioned, and there was talk that his father was trying to push through a move for him to England. So you've seen figures mentioned of around 50 million, but then apparently Bayern Munich said it was 90. So that's gone really quiet as well. So I don't know what the situation may or may not be there. Also, we spoke last night about Adama Traore. So apparently Wolves want around 45 or 50 million quid for Adama Traore, and Liverpool have apparently, you know, tested the waters at 25 million. Is there any truth to that? I don't know. But it would seem like a Liverpool-y thing to do with regards to, what do you want? 50, 25. 50, 25. 50, 24. 50, 13. That's, you know what I mean? That's how I imagine Michael Edwards goes around in those negotiations. And look, with the shoulder injury and the dislocations over the years, for me, Adama Traore, pie in the sky stuff, really. I mean, Klopp spoke about it before being unplayable on his day, but the key phrase there to me is on his day, because how many of those days does he have? Are those days consistent enough? Not for me. So, you know, Doku, great player. That's my priority. We've spoken about who's the other dude I just said? Kingsley Cowman. Look, there are some injury concerns around Cowman, and again the big transfer fee, so I'd put that in the highly doubtful pile. But you know, there might be another couple of players out there that we haven't spoken about that Klopp's looking at. Who do you prioritise? Tielemans, Doku or Ronaldo? I think the wide player has to be the priority first and foremost, because that's the position that we're going to be lacking in. I mean, you can go through our midfield. It on paper it looks stacked. Now, again, let me just circle back around to Youri Tielemans for one last second, because there was talk earlier on in the window that maybe Leicester City were interested in Naby Keita. And I don't know if that was pie in the sky stuff or if there was any truth to it. But if they were, and if that interest was real, and if Klopp was willing to move him on, and if Naby was willing to go to Leicester City, be a good deal all around then, wouldn't it? If you could do something, you know, send Naby that way, throw a few quid on top, get Youri Tielemans. Because look, Leicester are apparently close to or looking into signing Ozan Kabak, somebody who Liverpool didn't think was good enough to sign on a permanent deal. We know that Leicester are very astute in the transfer market, and they've, you know, made some very good signings in recent years, which is why I still don't know why we didn't just sign Ozan Kabak even if we went on to sell him. It just baffles me, because I still think we could have turned a profit. But that's, you know, mostly pie in the sky stuff, the Keita Tielemans thing. But, you know, in this world, post-COVID football, you never know what might happen. You know, clubs are getting a bit more inventive of the way they're trying to do deals. Why is this lad saying, can somebody answer Marty Doran? Mate, chill. Do you know what I mean? Chill. We will answer when we get a chance. People in the chat will answer when they get a chance. Don't go all caps. Don't start shouting at us, or it'll be TTFN for you, sir. Canade looks great. What do you think? Oh, he looks like a man mountain, Jack, doesn't he? I mean, you know, as I said yesterday, I seen a picture of him and I just thought I was looking at, you know, two mountains, because there was him and the mountain behind him. So, yeah, he looks great. Sorry, I need to look past for 1 second. Sorry, I've got some notes behind my camera there that I was trying to read. We might be looking at getting two midfielders. I don't think we need two midfielders, if I'm being honest, John. Plus, you know, there's Bellingham next summer, mate, so, you know, got to keep room for Jude. You're still writing in all caps, mate. You're saying he's been spamming his question all stream. Well, that's what the moderators are there for. They're supposed to be getting rid of these type of people that are spamming stuff or timing them out. And again, Marty, try and keep it lowercase, dude, if you can. Not Marty, excuse me. Herschel, try and keep it lowercase if you could, my friend. Right, what else have we got? One more thing, actually. Sorry. Well, loads more things, because I'm going to spend the last 15 minutes answering everything you guys want me to answer. So keep your questions, get them ready. I'm going to jump on and answer one that you guys want to ask about in a second. But I want to just talk about naming rights for a second, because, again, I read a very interesting piece yesterday. I know this show looks unprepared, by the way. I know I come on here and it looks like, you know, I haven't done research or whatever, but trust me, I spent hours upon hours upon hours watching and reading stuff. I just do it in a very off-the-cuff kind of way, because I don't work well if I'm literally reading notes. You know, I've got bullet points and stuff to remind myself what to talk about. Anyway, we get back to the what was I talking about? This just piqued me, isn't it? Naming rights, yeah. So, I never really thought about this until yesterday. Have you ever noticed that no clubs sell the naming rights to a stadium unless they're moving to a new stadium? Have you ever really thought about that? Because I didn't until I read about it yesterday. So right now we know that Daniel Levy and Spurs are looking to sell off the naming rights, and they want something like 350 million over 20 to 25 years for the naming rights. So, you know, Liverpool obviously would not get away with selling the naming rights to Anfield, and rightly so. You know, Everton are going to be moving from Goodison Park sometime down the line to the new stadium at Bramley Moore Dock. Most likely there'll be naming rights sold to that. Juventus moved. and they moved into their new stadium with naming rights. Arsenal moved, naming rights, so on and so forth. And it got me thinking, it's quite interesting, isn't it? So when John W. Henry and FSG made the decision that staying at Anfield was the best decision for everybody involved, they also probably threw away the opportunity at 300 million quid. So it just got me thinking. Now, that led me to delve a little bit further into this conversation and dig a little bit deeper again. And so, the Annie Road end is getting redone. There's going to be an extra 7,000 seats or so added there. And apparently the idea of selling off the name of the stand isn't off the table. It was something that was apparently considered when the new main stand was being done. But at least because the club could sell off corporate lounges in that, it was able to mitigate some of the financial risk involved. But with the Annie Road end, they could look to sell off the name of that stand. And I just wondered how you guys would feel about it, because obviously we have the Sir Kenny Dalglish stand, we've got the Cop, we've got the Annie Road end, we've got all the names of our stands. But I have to say, it wouldn't bother me so much, because whatever they call the name of the stand, we're all going to call it the Annie Road end anyway. So if, let's say, it brought the club in 100 million over 10 years, and that's just me plucking a number out my backside and throwing it out there, it wouldn't be something I'd be against. Particularly for, the Annie Road end, which anybody who's been to the Annie Road end will know that sometimes it's like looking through, if you're at the back of the Annie Road end, it's like looking through a post box. So it needs to be redone. But yeah, it is an interesting one, isn't it? That, you don't really see any clubs. I know Mike Ashley tried it with Sports Direct and Newcastle, but, that was never going to work. It was never going to be called anything else. But yeah, it just got me thinking anyway. Right, over to you guys for the last few minutes. What do you want to know about? Any questions you guys want to ask, whack them in now, and I will do my best to spend the rest of the stream replying. Right, let me just make the chat a bit bigger so I can see these questions better. Somebody said, when's the first video going to be on Craig Station? So I put out a tweet today asking, I want to kick off Craig Station with a big interview. So I put out a tweet today asking people to tag who they'd like me to try and get from the YouTube world onto Craig Station for the first interview or the first chat. And look, there's been loads of different replies as you'd expect, and I will go through them and I will try to get those that have been answered to. So that's probably going to be the first video. I would expect it probably in the next couple of weeks. I want to get it right, and I want to kick it off properly with how I mean to go on. So, there's a few people that are right up at the top of my list, and I'm hoping to try and be able to get in contact with these guys to bring them on for a chat. It's not really going to be a football related channel, so it'll just be a general chit chat about shit that I find interesting. Right, what else have we got? Do I like cheese? Not really, no. I eat it, but I'm not like, my wife would be like a cheese fanatic. Like if we went out for a meal, she'd have a cheese plate for dessert, and I'd have obviously 2 desserts like a normal human being. Need live chats on Craig Station. Yeah, see, I thought about this last night, Mick, and the plan was for the channel to be almost all pre-recorded, but I feel on a personal level that I'm at my best when things are done live, because I react emotionally to what I see in the chat. So I don't know if I'm now stereotyped as a live YouTuber. And not that that's a bad thing, but I get where you're coming from, Mick. Whereas Connor said, most likely you should do mostly recorded stuff. So I think it's trying to find a balance between the two, Mick. But I agree with you. I think I'm at my best when it's done live, and there's no room for error. And if it does go wrong, lean into it and have a laugh with it. Is Pedri still a thing? So Barcelona have 1 year left on Pedri's contract, but there's an option in that contract to... Who asked the question, by the way? Matthew Lynch. Thank you, Matthew. There's 1 year left on Pedri's contract. There is an option to extend that contract by 2 years, but the problem seems to be that there's a disagreement on both sides of this. So the club, Barcelona, believe that they can trigger that if they so wish, and the question is being asked, I think, from the other side about, well, do both parties have to agree to this. So the situation is, I don't know, but they would work really hard to try and keep Pedri because he's an obvious talent. He only came in from Las Palmas or so a year ago. The plan was for him to be part of the underage squad at Barcelona, but he impressed so much that he's now a first teamer and a regular first teamer. So, will somebody go and test their resolve? I mean, possibly, but it would have to be, now is the time. If you want any Barca players, now is definitely the time to try and, put the squeeze on them. Opinions on pineapple on a pizza. I don't eat it, but I don't have any opinions on it. I don't eat it because I only really eat cheese pizzas, but yeah, I mean, it doesn't offend me if somebody's pineapple on a pizza. I really couldn't give a shite, to be honest. I mean, if you want to put fucking lizard on a pizza, I don't care. It's whatever you fancy having, that's up to you. Do you want a striker or a wide forward? Again, as I've said, Samuel, we don't play with a striker. It's not the way our system is. So it will be a wide forward that can play across the front three. So the answer is wide forward, dude. And yeah, sorry, I just read Brian Morris's comment there. Said Pedri is too good. He's pretty magnificent, isn't he? But he's no, choo. Well, he probably is, but choo. We should sign Adam Hlojek, said Liam Roberts. I've seen that name mentioned around somewhere, Limo. Sorry, I hope you don't mind me calling you Limo. But I don't know where, dude. Saul, I've spoke about Saul a little bit tonight, but I'm going to save it for tomorrow because I reached out to my pal in Spain who was busy doing some work up with the Euros, obviously, and has only just arrived back home in the last day or two and hasn't really been paying attention to transfers. So I'm going to bell him back tomorrow and see if I can, if he's been able to get anything more concrete on Saul with regards to whether Liverpool are interested or if it's far along or what Atleti's stance is. And trust me, this is the guy. So if anyone's going to know, this guy will know. Craig, did you pick somebody for the role? No, God, no. No, it's not something we're going to rush into. We got to get it right. So we're going to take our time with it. A lot of people probably won't understand what Mark O'Neill has asked there. So we're looking for somebody else to join the Anfield Agenda family and be the channel's second presenter, for want of a better term. Mainly daytime content, because we all know I'm a vampire, basically, that, only sleeps during the day and gets up when it's dark out. So, yeah, no, we still need somebody. So if you think it could be you and you think you've got what it takes, what do we need from you? Well, just send us a video of you talking about whatever you want. Just we need to see you in front of a camera, having a bit of fun, talking about anything. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter if you're male. Doesn't matter if you're female. Doesn't matter what part of the world you're from. All that we need is a video between 1 and 3 minutes. Be inventive, be creative, and you can send it to contact@AnfieldAgenda.com. So that's contact@AnfieldAgenda.com. And yeah, we'll look through them, and if anybody catches our eye, we will make contact and probably progress to a Skype chat and see where we go from there. What have we got? Have we any chance of Isaac? Please give me hope, Craig, said Long Bomb Silver. I think that hope has dissipated even more so, mate, with the fact that he signed a new deal at Real Sociedad. So he had a €70 million clause in his deal, and Real Sociedad wanted to extend that deal before he went to the Euros. But I think, if my memory's right, he scored like 14 or 17. I think it was 17 goals last season for them. And I can only imagine if he signed a new deal that the release clause will have gone up. So I'd love to give you hope, mate. And, I certainly know that he's somebody who we would have had a look at. But at this moment in time, I'd be very, very, very surprised. Sorry, I don't mean to be a party pooper, but, I'll always be honest. Prediction for the Norwich match. A big fat dub, as always. Any news on Rafinha? Only that Liverpool apparently don't hold an interest in Rafinha. That's the only news on Rafinha. Again, looking down the line, Pedro Neto is somebody who I've always thought looks like a Liverpool player, and that could be one for next summer. Love the show, said Thomas Raymond. Thank you very much. I don't think I've even said it yet, but if you guys do enjoy it, please do hit the subscribe button. Drop a like on the video. Don't forget there's a link to Anfield Agenda Extra, which is a clips channel, which is pinned to the top of the live chat now as well. So Connor will take up the long 1 hour long stream and break it up into little segments and post it up on there. So if you want it in shorter form, or you want to look at specific things we've spoken about, make sure you subscribe to Anfield Agenda Extra as well. And get your asses over and subscribe to Craig Station, because that's going to get going in the next couple of weeks, and I don't know why or how, but thank you. It's continuing to grow even now. It's at like 23,550 subscribers or something like that. So yeah, please do go over and subscribe to Craig Station as well. But look, I'm going to keep going for a few more minutes if that's alright, if you'll have me, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if y'all want to head off or not, but I'm happy to sit on for another few minutes if you guys want to, because for me this is only like lunchtime. So yeah. Have I ever streamed any boxing matches? Yes, once we did. We did KSI Logan Paul, I think. I know we did one and it fell on its arse, but yeah, I don't remember. I think it was KSI Logan Paul. I'm almost certain it was, but we've done one. But I won't be. There's so much I want to say, but I can't say yet because news hasn't broken. But just watch this space. Do you know what I mean? That's all I can say, is just watch this space. Craig Station will be class. Thank you, Addison. For anyone who is searching it, it's all one word, by the way. So Craig and then Station, all one word. Age restriction for applying. Ideally, yes, we'd want people 18 and over, because long term, if everything kicks off and it went well and part of the team, it could involve travelling. It could involve us doing live gigs or live stuff in England or so. Yeah, ideally over the age of 18 would be more likely for us to look at. So yes, thank you for bringing that up, mate. I should have said that earlier on. Abdullah, thank you for asking that question. Any Damsgaard news? I read somewhere that Sampdoria would want about 35 or 40 million for the kid. And look, I'll be really honest, I'd never heard of the lad before the Euros, but I know he's massively impressed a lot of people there, and that's about all I know on him, to be honest. Mayweather McGregor, yes, that was the one, Liam. Liam Granby in there like a shot. Good man, Liam, saving the day. Yeah, it was McGregor versus Mayweather. That was the one, Limo. And I know I can call you Limo because I've always called you Limo. So yes, there you go. That's a good show. Thank you. That's the one we did. Loan Harvey or not, said Hakeem. Not this season, mate, because he got the loan. It was very, very carefully chosen where he went on loan to as well, and he went to Blackburn. He worked under Tony Mowbray. And even the feedback from Blackburn fans has been fantastic around Harvey Elliott, and the boy wants to succeed. You look at Curtis Jones and you see the belief and you see the drive and you see everything that he ticks all the boxes. Harvey Elliott to me ticks all those boxes as well, so I think keep for this season. What have we got? Any more collabs with Mark? Can't say. Well, yeah, look, there will be, of course, because, when Liverpool play United, we always do stuff together, but maybe ask me early next week. I know, we all know when I'm dancing around this issue here. Like, there's a reason why Mundo Sporto doesn't exist. There's a reason why you're asking the question. There's a reason why I can't answer the question yet, but I think we all know where this is going, so just bear with me is all I can say on this one. There'll be a here we go and there's a here we go. Mahele's backup lad was class at the Euros. Again, another good player from the Euros for him. But backup I don't think is really where we need to be looking at right now. I think we need to be looking at for the challenging to get right into the first team. Is TIELEMANS close? No, absolutely not. I'm not saying it won't happen, but it defo isn't close. The priority is to get a wide forward, then midfield. That doesn't mean we're not looking at midfield. It doesn't mean maybe we haven't reached out to agents, but close? No, absolutely not. I heard you're going on a channel that is a bit like It's Soccer. Is it true? I don't know. Is it? Can't say. No idea. Can't believe Sturridge is still a free agent, said Brian Morrissey. He's over doing a trial with Real Mallorca, and thank you to one of the guys in our Discord group who let me know that. And look, if you want to get into the Anfield Agenda Discord group, what do you got to do? I don't know what that noise of inhaling there was for me, but join up and become a member of Anfield Agenda FC. There's a link in the description to become a member. You get into our Discord group, which is member only. You get access to all the cool emojis that we use on match days, mainly the Blame Connor, the Virgil van Dijk, the Mohamed Salah, all of those. You get the Anfield Agenda logo beside your name, and your name will appear in green to me and other members, making it easier to spot your comments. Right, what else have we got? Craig, if you could sign anyone, who would it be? Mbappe. Yeah, Mbappe will be the signing, and then Jude Bellingham. You know, either of those two would do me the finest, as we say here in Ireland. Did I hear about Arsenal's loss today? Damn right I did. Arteta out was trending already. Do you know what I mean? They lost, was it 2-1 or something to Hibs in a friendly where the goalkeeper had an absolute mare. I don't know if you've seen it. Came out to clear a ball. It was a swing and a miss. And Hibs beat them. But, you know, it's a pre-season friendly. So I wouldn't, if I was an Arsenal fan, I wouldn't be that worried. I mean, I'd be worried because the club's shit. But apart from that, I wouldn't be too particularly worried about where they are right now. Craig, I'm a member, not got the Discord link. So, Andy, what you've got to do, mate, is have a look on the community tab of the Anfield Agenda YouTube channel, and the link should be there. If it's not there or the link isn't active, we'll refresh it for you. I'll get Connor to do that. He's out on the piss now at the minute with his mate. But I'll get Connor to do that. So anybody who is a member and hasn't yet joined our Discord group, check the community tab on the YouTube channel. If you're a member, you'll be able to see the link to the Discord group. If you're not, you won't. Bellingham or Haaland? Bellingham. I know, mate. I know it's hard to say. It's very hard to say here and not say Haaland, but I really want to be singing here next year, going na 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 na. Hey Jude, 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 and then Jude, Jude, Jude. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Craig, who would win in a fight, Roy Keane or Julian Dix? Well, Julian Dix looks like me a bit, so I'd always back somebody that looks like me. But yeah, look, put it this way, I wouldn't be getting into a row with Roy Keane. Definitely not. Would I take Verratti? Yes. Forever yes. 100 yeses. Yes times a million. I've said to you guys, even go back 2.5 years on our streams, people have said to me, you know, who would your dream signing be? Marco Verratti has always been somebody. It's been very high up my list. He's almost like the complete midfielder. He's your Xavi Alonso. He's your Pirlo. He's, you know, he does have some injury issues, but Marco Verratti for me is exquisite. Just an exceptional midfielder that does everything beautifully and makes it look effortless. So yeah, 100%. My ears appreciated that. I'm sure they didn't, mate, but I apologise if I hurt your old ears. But my wife goes nuts every time you sing. I'm gathering it's in a bad way, Mick, because my missus tells me to shut up every time I sing as well, but I don't care. I'm having a bit of fun. You know, apologies to your good lady wife, mate, if my horrendous singing. Do you know what I think we need to do, though? I think me and Goldbridge need to do a carpool karaoke at some point. And I mean, together. I mean, wouldn't that be fun? Me and Goldbridge in a carpool karaoke. Craig, I'm creating a Liverpool channel. How do I make the channel grow? Mate, I don't even know how we made this channel grow. I just show up and pray and just talk crap and numbers go up. There's no secret. Consistency, have fun, be genuine, and enjoy yourself. That's all I ever tried to do. Never stop singing. I won't. I mean, I know I can't hold it now. I'm well aware my singing is horrendous. I mean, I'm not somebody that's, you know, thinking I'm going on Britain's Got Talent or something, or Ireland's Got Talent, or The Voice. I mean, I'm well aware I can't sing, but I don't care. I don't feel embarrassment. I told you this before. Are you doing pre-season watch-alongs? Yes, we will be, Marty, yeah. Liverpool have been linked with so many midfielders, but do you actually think we'll sign a few, or do you think we'll just replace Gini, rely on Kate? No, we will sign one, mate, we will. But I think it'll be probably the last piece of business we do. So Again, when I get more information, I mean, I think it looks like it's down to probably 4. Neuhaus has gone very quiet. I've told you I think he'll end up at Bayern Munich next year. Then, you've got obviously Yuri Tielemans, whose name has been highlighted more over the past couple of weeks. Leicester want about 65 million apparently for him. He's somebody that we'd all be happy with, I think. Ronaldo Sanchez, about 35 million euro, about 30 million pound. He'll probably move on this summer. Where he goes remains to be seen. And then Saul Niguez of Atleti, who basically Atletico want around 5 million more than they buy Rodrigo de Paul from Udinese for. So yeah, so they're available, and let's wait and see what happens. But I think it'll probably be the latter part of the window for that. Who's the best banter, expressions or troops? Me. No, look, I've worked with both of the lads. I've worked with expressions and troops, and I had fun with both of them. They are both nice lads, and yeah, they both made me smile. And anyone that makes me smile, that's a good one as far as I'm concerned, because I'm all about spreading happiness and fun. And they're two mad fuckers, and I mean that in the kindest possible way. Like, they're good fun. They're nice lads. But me is the answer. Craig, your singing would show up all the other contestants. You know what I mean? I just stroll out there, put the mask on, do the whole thing. I might even do the masked dancer. I mean, that's one. Imagine the shock there of my chunky ass going on there dancing. Do we keep Tsimikas, in your opinion? I think we will keep him, mate. Yeah, I mean, there was some talk that he was going to move on, but all the sounds coming out of Liverpool and Klopp, where the Costas Tsimikas is now up to speed, ready to go. Looks like his injury issues are behind him. He's at the training camp in Austria right now. And look, whatever we say about if we lose Nico Williams, we could use Joe Gomez or we could use Conor Bradley. I think we're far more susceptible if we don't have Costas Tsimikas at left back as backup to Robbo. So I hope we keep him. Why do Liverpool actually have money to spend? Do you mean no money to spend, or? Sorry, mate, I'm confused, Binny, by your question, mate. When is the betting series coming? You were rolling in the Euros. You had a good Euros on the betting front, I won't lie to you. Obviously, you'll have noticed we no longer are partnered up with Boyle Sports. We do have new sponsors coming on board for the new season. We'll be working with One Football. We'll be working with Manscaped. I'm going to be filming the new Manscaped ad for you guys because the Lawnmower 4.0 is out now, by the way. So again, the code WFM20 still works on that. If you want to get yourself the new Lawnmower 4.0, our code gets you 20% off. And there's another company that we're just finalising something with now as well for the season ahead. So Manscaped are basically going to be sponsoring the new shows right up until December. So, get ready for a new version of the Manscaped ad. It'll probably be a little bit shorter, but far more ballsy. Do I have any hope for the Irish national team? You gotta have hope, man. You gotta. I mean, there's a lot of rebuilding needs to be done, but you gotta have hope. And look, I need to get my ass out and get to more League of Ireland games myself. I do have a good hookup actually in Wexford FC, formerly known as Wexford Youths. One of my very, very good friends, I've known this guy all my life, is head of their academy down there. So we're going to be probably trying to do a little bit to help out their academy with regards to helping them maybe attract people towards it, showing the facilities, stuff like that. So yeah, I definitely need to get out and about to more League of Ireland stuff as well. And now that I'm fully vaccinated, and medication's going well, psychologist appointments are going well. Yeah, I mean, I could be in London next week as well. I've been, working with my psychologist towards that for the past while because I've known something could be coming up. Can't tell you guys what it is yet, but I'm supposed to be going over there next Wednesday for some filming. Should have that confirmed by tomorrow. So yeah, happy days ahead. Craig, from next Manscaped, can you do an hour-long ad? I can't. It needs to be probably less. I think the one we did was probably too long, particularly if I'm playing it in a segment, but God, it was so much fun. Opinions on the second kit. For a fatty like me, I couldn't wear it because, you know, my moobs would be sticking through it, my nipples would be poking people's eyes out. But, you know, for the younger, slimmer generation, I can see why it might be appealing, but there's no way that I'd be stretching myself into that kit. I need darker colours to try and make me look a little bit thinner than I am. Do you know what I mean? You know all the tricks at this point. Rabadan, nice to see you, buddy. Said just got in. Did you see Hibs Arsenal? I did, and let us all continue to laugh at Arsenal. And yeah, the Arteta out thing has been trending already, which, you know, early doors even for them. Right, what's the third kit for this season? Imagine that Ronald McDonald had a fight with mustard and ketchup and it all melted. Ta-da! That's what the third kit is going to be. Show us your old advert. I can't play it actually, Joanne, because the Lawnmower 4.0 is now available from Manscaped, and that's the 3.0. So, you know, they'll be sending us out the new set. We'll be doing a bit of filming with it, and then, you know. But if you do want to go onto manscaped.com, you can use our code WFM20. Get yourself 20% off absolutely anything you'd like at manscaped.com, and your balls will thank you later. Craig, wait to watch the Arsenal documentary. Oh God, yes. I mean, we turned down 10 million, I think, for that from Amazon. They did one with City, they did one with Spurs, but Jurgen Klopp had the final say on the Liverpool one, and he said no to it. So there won't be one with Liverpool. I think he just doesn't want to give away any of the inner workings of the club, which I can understand. Clarkson's Farm. Oh, I've seen little bits and pieces of that, Mick. Yeah, it's a good show. See, this is the type of stuff we'll be doing on Craig's Station, by the way. Random chat like this where we talk about whatever. That's the beauty of it. It's complete and utter freedom away from the Liverpool world that I love so much, but that limits to what I can do. So, yeah. So that's why I said get over to Craig Station, CraigStation, all one word, and give it a sub. You missed my super chat. Apologies, Yasir. Let me just scroll back up, dude. Yasir, you retracted it, so you said I missed it, but then you retracted it, so lash the comment in again, Yasir, and I'll keep an eye out for it, dude. And I do apologise, sir, sincerely. I hate missing super chats. What's your opinion on playing Chamberlain in the centre forward role? Oh God, no, not to that. I've heard some talk that maybe he could be used in a wing back role on the right hand side, which he did do at Arsenal previously. And look, I want Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain to be fit and ready and available this season more than anybody. I mean, I like the lad. Thoughts on the Suarez 7 thing? I don't know what you mean, Rodders, by the Suarez 7 thing. Are you talking about the images that were doing the rounds a few days ago of like number 7, and it showed like Suarez? I think there was a few other ones. I think it's just a retro thing because, you know, Luis Suarez is staying at Atleti from his own mouth. You know, you don't even need me to say it. He said it himself that he feels loved at Atleti, and you know, he's got one more year on his deal and he plans on staying there. I don't know if that's what you're talking about, dude, or if there's something else. Anyway, let me just keep an eye out for Yasir's comment because I want to make sure that I don't miss it again. Who would you want as manager if Klopp went? It's for me. Look, it's Pep Linders or Steven Gerrard. You know, I like. I mean, look, Mauricio Pochettino's at PSG, but do I like Pochettino as a manager? I do, yeah. You and Mark Goldbridge should do a rap battle. Oh, mate, look, I can't rap to save my life. I mean, whatever about me trying to blag my way to singing a song, rapping, I just simply couldn't do, but I absolutely could. Craig, what 3 players would you sell? Shaqiri? That's my mixture of Shaqiri and Origi. And Wilson, because they're probably the ones we get the most money for. Grujic is a done deal. That looks like it's happening to Porto. Favourite genre of music? Rap, probably. Although, look, my playlist will go from gangster rap to hip hop to Backstreet Boys to Westlife to Garth Brooks, all the way then back to Stained or some rock music. I just have a really eclectic taste in music. Do I like horror movies? No, I don't. I only really watch comedies and documentaries. Wilson has to go, I think, for his own sake, as well as anybody else's, mate. You know, whatever about us and him, the lad wants to play football. Big Year 2-pack. It's got to be 2-pack. I mean, it's 2-pack every day of the week. So no musical taste then. Well, look, I love Oasis so well. I've been to see Oasis 6 or 7 times. And I've been to a gig that I bet you ladies and gents would have absolutely loved it. I was lucky enough to see Oasis and The Prodigy on the same bill. Now, come on. That's pretty good. Down in Cork. Do you think Harvey Elliott is ready? Yes, I do. Ready to play first team football. You've got me thinking now, Yasir. I've always wanted to do like a charity music video. And I said it to Goldberg before as well, where we get a few of us kind of YouTuber or football YouTubers together and just absolutely make a show of ourselves and record like, I don't know, Uptown Girl or something like that, you know, for a charity. Be good fun. And, you know, I have the benefit of not feeling embarrassment, so yeah, there is that. Look, I didn't realise how long I've been on, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to head off into the night. I will chat to you guys tomorrow. And yeah, I should have hopefully a little bit more information around the Seoul situation. Don't forget to get yourselves over to Craig Station and the Anfield Agenda Clips channel. Anfield Agenda Extra is at the top of the live chat as well. I will, Anaconda maybe. There you go. Do you know what I mean? Quince knows. Look, ladies and gentlemen, lots of love to all of you. Have a great evening. I'll talk to you tomorrow.